Welcome to the Business Legends Podcast, where we interview business leaders and entrepreneurs so that you can learn from their successes, become inspired, and meet the people that make change happen. I'm the host of the show, Reese Allen, and today I am joined by my very first Scoutmaster I think I've ever met, to tell you the truth. But he is the man with he has had 20 different careers in 20 years, and he has 20 names to prove it. I'm here with D. Brady Drummond-Ryan. So did I get it right? I got all your names.
Thank
okay.
you.
All right.
Awesome.
So tell me about the names first off. So why do you have so many names?
Well, I was born Dennis Brady Ryan.
Okay. All right.
And Dennis was a family friend, and Brady was my grandparents' surname.
Okay.
So we got a couple surnames, and if you haven't guessed, I think it's Irish, something like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
When I was in graduate school, I met my now wife, and we shared our names. We decided to share the names. My thesis was on the fact that women disappear in a language. So I now pronounce you man and wife.
Right.
He's a man, she's relegated to wife.
Right.
They lose their name. They
Yeah.
lose their identity. And the language is, male dominant. So that was the thesis that I was working
And what did you study in school?
Social work.
Okay.
Master's in social work.
Wow, that plays into what we're going to talk about with Scouts and all that. Yeah.
We hyphenated just to be cool and
Yeah.
maybe get chicks, but no.
It's too late for that.
Too late,
There you go.
Yeah.
So, but you go by Brady, right?
Right, yeah.
So, okay. So you have the multiple names, but it makes it unique. It's kind of like your own little self-brand. So that's pretty cool.
Brady like the bunch.
Yeah.
And you get that.
Yeah, I got it.
People-
That's what I think about. They
look at me.
I think I'm the last generation that would
Brady,
get that.
yeah.
But hey, that's what I think about every time I see it. And I'm a huge Tom Brady fan,
Yeah.
so there's that. Okay, so let's jump in. And you are the very first guest that I've had in over 100 that has brought some props to share with us. So I can't wait to dig into those.
Okay.
But let's talk a little bit about. I guess I want to phrase it like finding yourself and entrepreneurial passions and careers and things like this. Now, we were talking before the show about how you've been in the mortgage/real estate industry for 20 years now. But before that, you did just a little bit of everything. It seems like I'm sitting here talking about something. Like, oh yeah, I used to paint. Oh yeah, I used to do. Oh yeah, I used to do that. So what was that process like, and how did you get involved in real estate?
Well, as I tell people, finding the job's easy, keeping it's the hard part.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
Yeah, kind of I work backwards, but during the downturn, I was doing mortgages. This is the first one, 2008.
2008, sure.
And was working for Wells Fargo. I was underwriting, hated it, chained to the desk. But before that, I was in community management. Like when I moved to Charlotte, I was building homes.
Okay.
My dad was a cabinet maker.
Wow.
I grew up, learned the trade, and you don't need a master's to be able to paint for a living, but it helps to be able to paint for a living.
Yeah.
You're searching for master's degrees, so jobs, if you will. So just kind of went with what was in front of me. I was in fundraising for a number of years, and then when I got to Charlotte, it took a while, but eventually, like I said, built homes, and then got into community management. I was on an HOA board, which is
I was going to say
I was president. I was
that does not sound like fun at all.
No.
And we were just talking about HOAs before this too.
Yeah, they're a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So I had some crazy people that
I can only imagine.
So that was it's kind of in that real estate fundraising.
Yeah, it seems like you've always been involved in real estate in some form or fashion.
I really was. I mean, I was at the time doing fundraising for Catholic Charities here in Charlotte.
Wow.
And had met, again, talk about partnerships, how you just meet people. And had met a guy by the name of Keith, and he had a business, mortgage business. And he invited me to join him. And I said, well, what do I know about mortgages? I don't know anything. Don't worry, I'll train you.
Yeah.
And he did. He said,
and then it stuck.
Cut me a check for my monthly expenses. He said after 6 months or 3 months, you don't worry about it.
Right.
Because it was like commission only.
Right.
This point, it was paycheck. So looking for that entrepreneurial opportunity. So he does taxes. He's doing mortgages. He had his real estate license. His wife at the time was doing real estate. So that's pretty much how I got started in mortgages.
Wow.
And then it just evolved based on sometimes the career changes were my choice, and sometimes the choice was made for me.
Right.
I mean, at that time, I was a broker. They went away. And in 2009, I moved over to a company called Starkey Mortgage, which was they were selling to Wells Fargo. They were selling to the banks, and in terms of again, the downturn was happening. You couldn't get an appraisal to save your life. Everything was underwater. So I got into community management worked for a place, Cedar Management, and then Abbott Enterprises. So it was on the other side of the table of HOA, so HOA community management.
So the question that comes to my mind is, was there anything about real estate and mortgages that just kind of stuck with you, or was it more of just you found yourself landing in a position type of thing and you're comfortable with it, or what was it about it?
Yeah, it was pretty much that.
Yeah.
I've never had a plan.
Yeah.
Where, where are you going to be in 5 years?
Right. You have no idea. Yeah, you just wherever I can be, right?
With it, and
Stay fluid.
When the downturn was happening, I looked around and, okay, where are my skill sets?
Right.
And I think that's the challenge is, okay, what else can I do?
Right.
So many people, they've only done mortgages.
Sure.
That's all they can do. Where I've done fundraising.
Yeah.
I've worked for the YMCA. I worked for higher education. I worked as a development director up in Appalachian State.
Oh, wow.
There. So it was more like, oh, here's an opportunity. Actually, before that, I left Catholic Social Services and started a website design company.
Oh, cool.
With a buddy of mine who I met through the chamber. Talk about and his name's Ward, and we started Crown Communications.
Wow.
And
you really have done a little bit of everything.
At the time, yeah.
What have you not done? So you've never been like you've never been like a brain surgeon or rocket scientist, right? Like, is that
okay?
That. Okay,
no, haven't
gotcha.
Been to the moon.
Yeah.
Haven't flown on
no astronaut.
SpaceX.
No pilots. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so, but always wanted to was enthralled with the internet. That's kind of when it was starting out. This was 2001.
Oh wow! So this has been during the .com bubble,
before Facebook.
Yeah.
Before and another buddy of mine I'd met. He's from New Jersey. Came down. John. He had a website design and development firm. And before there was Wix and GoDaddy and everybody
Squarespace and WordPress.
Brother, he had a WYSIWYG product where if you could, as a small business person, it was designed for the small business person, where if you could type and upload a photo, you could have a website.
Yeah. Simple
internet.
enough.
So
sure.
we set up to resell.
Yeah.
We're going out and selling his product, and for $500 and a monthly, maybe as much as $30 a month hosting, you could do all your maintenance, because at the time they were really expensive to get set up. They were really expensive to maintain. And so,
still are. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So this was WYSIWYG. If you could, do these things, and it was that simple.
Yeah.
And so I started going around to people I knew through, etc., networking, and we built that up. And but I think the mistake that we made was I still needed a salary, so I was getting a salary.
Right.
And anyway, we had to curtail that activity.
Yeah.
And at that time,
In lieu
that's
of
when I
other.
went to Keith and said, geez, I need to do something else. He goes,
Right.
oh, well, good. I kind of wanted you to come into the mortgage business.
Yeah.
But I wanted you to get that internet thing
out of your system. Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's tough. It's tough
everybody.
business for sure.
And before that, I was selling pagers and cell phones.
Oh wow.
You know what a pager is?
I do.
And my buddy Ward was selling. He was a reseller for Bell Atlantic.
Okay.
Which is
now that's
no history. Bell Atlantic and Alltel.
I was gonna say they became Alltel,
the
right?
phone companies. Yeah.
And now that's AT&T, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Bell Atlantic became Verizon.
Verizon, that's right.
And then they merged with Alltel. And AT&T, who actually history will show they actually gave up the cell phone. They saw no purpose for it.
What a mistake.
So they
what a mistake.
came in late to the game, and then everything went digital. And but leaving Crown Communications, I had to look for something, and he said, hey, come on in. And it was a small shop, but man, he ended up growing to 5 offices.
Wow.
20 folks, and it was broker time, and it was had everything that caused the meltdown. I was there when it happened. I didn't cause it.
Okay?
Yeah. Because we had the pick-a-pay loans, we had the interest only, we had the anything you needed you could go get. But when it came down to 100% financing, no documentation.
Yeah. That's.
We all kind of like this.
It was a little sketchy.
This doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this sounds bad. And then all of a sudden,
That's 2008, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
8, and then in 9, I finally had to get out because the brokers went away.
Right.
But it was like getting calls on a Tuesday morning. Hey, we're closing this afternoon. Can you do this?
Yeah.
Our bank just closed.
Jeez.
Yeah, or
Probably not.
Stearns. Or,
Yeah.
Bear Stearns.
Mm-hmm.
All the folks that had the credit lines for broker companies
Mm-hmm.
were going out of bit. They were closing.
Right.
Lehman Brothers and Stearns, and so and then I was getting these. Yeah, it was a Mexican or a Spanish-speaking bank, El Banco or something, went under.
Yeah.
It's like that morning.
Yeah.
Everybody went bankrupt. That
Yeah.
happened with one of my lenders.
Wow.
They went bankrupt, and then it took forever to get my payment to the right place.
Jeez.
So yeah, and that just yeah.
So let me ask you this. So, wonderful. Been in the industry for 20 years. I mean, you've seen the cycles. You've seen the goods and the bads and the uglies and the greats and the wonderfuls and the bads. How do you hedge against these things? Like, do you just keep well, I mean, do you just keep moving forward or
Yeah, you keep moving forward. I mean, I think the challenge is how do you differentiate yourself?
Sure.
And who do you partner with? And that's really a key because rates have been high. I bought my first house at 13.5.
Wow.
Of course, it was $78,000.
Yeah,
home,
yeah.
But there's always been ebb and flow in the industry, and no crystal ball. I mean, I would have to look to see where rates are. I mean, like you said, you got something a little over 7, and they're out there depending on 7.5 and what you put down. And
Right.
there's some bond products that are at 6.75, and
Wow.
you can get a $15,000 down payment assistance to buy your first home.
Wow.
So you kind of go where the products are, and I think our guaranteed rate is our parent company. Certainty Home Lending, DBA, or guaranteed rate, DBA, Certainty Home Lending. Two products that I find really beneficial and aren't really known as well as like a renovation loan, which is you can buy a home and get the money to renovate it all as part of your mortgage. And the thinking is you love the neighborhood, but you hate the house.
Right.
Well, with a renovation loan, you could make that home exactly how you want it.
Yeah. That's something.
And then be part of the mortgage.
Right. Part of your overall
you're good to
stake.
go.
Yeah.
And the other one is
That's something. So I was aware of that, but that's something that I feel like the vast majority of people that are buying homes don't understand. Well, it's not that they don't understand, but it's like they're not aware of it.
They're not, and
yeah.
that's where it comes into being a true consultant.
Right.
Versus I'm going to sell you what I got.
Right.
Versus talking to the person, okay,
Yeah, do
let's
you want
figure
to
out what
stick
you
to your
need.
stick?
Let's
Right.
figure out what you need. Geez, I saw this house, but it's as is. And I go, great, because I did one for my daughter. She got an as is house for $80,000.
Right.
One owner, 1960s built. Son had a home, didn't want to live with all everything he had as a kid was still in the home.
Wow,
And
yeah,
he's going
yeah.
through stuff, and oh my God, both my parents are dead.
Yeah.
Didn't want the house, and it was a complete reno. I mean, aluminum wiring,
Oh,
lead
wow.
pipe, no central AC, the floors
Asbestos everywhere, probably. Yeah.
room to room, you different levels,
Yeah.
and different things under the. And man, she got it for 80. Got the loan with another 90 and it was a total reno. Tear out the walls and put insulation in and everything. Gorgeous. I had some original hardwoods that they were able to keep. But so it's about $180,000, and a year later she sold it for $250.
Yeah, go figure. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a beautiful home, great bones. Yeah, the exterior would need some work eventually, but that was solid. So that's one product I think people don't know about. And another one is what they call home equity conversion mortgage, better known as reverse. And every realtor I've talked to doesn't realize you can purchase a home with a reverse mortgage, which means you're coming down from New York and you got $500,000, and you want a $600,000 house,
Right.
and you don't want to not have all your money.
Right.
You want to retire, and maybe you don't want to require to have a mortgage payment. So what do I do? And most realtors, I don't know. Well, you put money down, or no, you could, given your age, it's got to be over 62. You could qualify for because there's equity as you're buying.
Yeah.
Put less down. A good
Loan against your
example would
equity,
be,
right?
I got one where they both 70. They want to retire. They want the option of making a mortgage payment or not.
Mm-hmm.
And it came down to they could get $200,000 on a reverse and only have to put $300,000 into the house to get it purchased,
right.
and then have the option of making a payment or not. But then, because you can either not make it, which is it's paid when you move out of the house or
right.
die or pass it on. So that's a great, not for everybody,
mm-hmm.
and it got some kind of black eye in the past, some predatory lending.
Yeah.
And now it's protected, because it's a protected class in real estate. So so what guaranteed rate did was say, okay, everybody take this basic training, so you know enough to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you bring a customer in, they're going to work with our concierge team that's knows everything from soup to nuts.
Yeah.
So, and I'll learn as I go, but I have enough information to at least present it to people. I start
help
talking
people
to
make a
realtors,
decision.
and they're like, no, they can builders. They have no idea. It's
right.
Like, well, guess what? You can afford more payments.
Yeah.
Use that, not have a payment because you want to retire, and not have that payment till whenever, or you want to set aside some of the equity to use in the future, which you could also do, and it grows at an appreciation rate, not at an interest rate.
Right.
Versus normal second mortgage, you got a payment, you got a rate that's accruing. So I think those two, and the other is pick up the phone. Answer the damn phone. I cannot tell you, almost every realtor you call now says, for
text
quicker service.
Yeah, text me. Yeah.
For quicker service, text me. And I'm like, I don't want to text you. I want to talk to you because I have a lead for you, or I have I need your, these are people I work with on a regular basis.
Well, and back to your point, that's why you have to be very selective about who you partner with,
Exactly.
Because, I'm never going to get mad if I've done that with you where you called me and I had to call you back, but I typically get back to people in a reasonable amount of time, but that's just a part of it. Like I could be on the phone or doing something else or whatever,
Well, it's an extreme example, but it's become the norm.
For sure.
People are going to read I have 24,000 connections on LinkedIn. Still trying to figure out how to monetize that.
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
I have some poor videos on my YouTube channel. I got
to
work on those.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. That in your book. We'll get them all done.
To talk to you more about that.
Yep.
But we get a social media calendar to post, and they'll automatically post it on my X, whatever it is now, Twitter. Twitter, Facebook page, and my LinkedIn, and those little posts. So it's top of mind. Have I got any business? A couple calls, but it's this. This is face to face. It's a handshake, and that's a lot of what I talk about with partnering. Who are you partnering with? A good partner has something that you don't,
right?
And you bring to the table. Like, why did you get together?
Yeah. Well, that's a long story, but we complement each other very well.
College, and there's some balance. So
for sure.
Are you ready for props?
Heck yeah. Let's talk about props. We've been wanting to get into that all day. So okay, partnerships.
Yeah. Then I'll show you another one.
Yeah. Okay.
So one partnership.
By the way, to all of our listeners, look at that. I haven't. So he brought these props, and I haven't looked at them yet. So I'm gonna be surprised along with the listeners.
This is an
here. Yeah. Aw.
59 years in scouting.
Wow.
Great partnership.
Yeah.
Love it. Talk more about that.
Yeah.
But
that's
awesome. Another partnership.
What is Den Z there? Is that like it says Brady Ryan Den Z? Den 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Den 2. Oh, I thought it was Z. I thought it was Z. Sorry.
Z generation? No, wait.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else have I got here? Okay. I've had a 42-year relationship.
Wow, that's you on the left.
My first wife.
Wow.
Wow. And I know she still loves me.
Yeah.
Because I asked her the other day.
Okay.
And she says, "Well, I'm here, aren't I?"
Yeah, that's very important. That's very important.
And we haven't changed a bit. So we're still young and
I like your hair.
Young and vibrant. Yeah. The beard. I'm so happy I finally reached puberty.
It took a while, but you made it. Yeah.
And let's see.
I started growing facial hair when I was like 13 years old. It was ridiculous.
I wanted facial hair when I was 14, but I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
And of course, I've had a long relationship with Aquavelva.
Okay. Yeah.
Because There's something about an Aquavelva man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you've
I
heard it,
remember
you've heard it, but
I remember
okay.
that. But
Yeah.
but you still use it to this day. Wow. That's so.
That's my dad.
There's something about
You know.
when I was in grad school and I was in marketing class, there's something about products that passes down generation to generation. And so a lot of times, a lot of these companies, they know this. And so instead of trying to compete for market share, they'll just compete to retain market share. And I'll give you an example. So you wash your clothes. What type of detergent do you use?
It's like maybe Whisk or something
Whisk.
like that. Yeah. Or Arm & Hammer, I think. So.
Okay. What do you think your family used when you were growing up?
Well, we did all our laundry at my mom's nursing home, so
okay, whatever was there.
It was probably close. Tide.
Yeah.
Tide was a big one back
most of the time, it's the same though.
Yeah.
It's the same as whatever you learned from your parents.
Yep.
Same thing with Coke or Pepsi. Coke or Pepsi. Do you buy Coke or Pepsi? Right.
Yeah, we don't drink Pepsi.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting, and that's it. It doesn't. I mean, some people knock you out with their cologne.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this product is it does kind of change with your person, your body. Each body has a different. My dad always, and it's like one of the things that my dad
Just sticks with you.
always used, and you'd always smell it. And I had a professor at college that wore that as well. And I have a lot of my papers in a plastic folder in a trunk.
Yeah.
And I've opened them up on occasion. I can
and you can still smell it. Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that guy.
That's interesting. Well, there's definitely something about the olfactory senses in general. I mean, you can smell a smell and it will give you a memory. Same thing with your auditory senses. Like if you hear a song, you can remember where you were when you heard it and that type of thing.
The songs are the ones that I had one of my
for a long time.
morning.
Yeah, it just comes right back. It just comes right back. So I know you've been doing mortgages for a long time, but I also know that you're very passionate about the Scouts. You're Scoutmaster, and you have a couple fun trips coming up. So how did you get involved in Scouts? Does it come from your family, or what was your process like to?
Well, grew up on a farm.
Okay.
And so I was outside. And I have 9 siblings.
Yeah.
And 5 brothers, 4 sisters.
Wow.
And I was in Cub Scouts, so by evidence.
Yeah. You have evidence. You have proof.
I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So do the math. And it was hard keeping volunteers. I mean, we were very fortunate in this council that everybody stays on.
Wow.
I'm going into my 8th year as Scoutmaster.
Wow.
And there's guys that do it for 40.
Wow. Yeah.
Got their name on a room, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people come and go but a lot of adult leaders in our council, their children got them into scouting and they stayed.
Yeah.
Sons aged out or daughters aged out, and daughters are in now too. But basically my brother said, hey, we're meeting at the school. You want to go?
Yeah.
Or no, it was just like, hey, we just scout meeting at the school.
Yeah.
Okay. And small, 131.
Stuck with it ever since.
131 classmates. It was a small school. We knew everybody, and it was like had 3 Scoutmasters. We go to summer 4 years, and it was fun. We go to summer camp. We didn't do as much as we do now with things, but it was like we met at the school. So and my dad got involved on the committee, and another boy's dad got involved. But the first year in the troop, because I was only about a year in the Cubs, because back then we met in the homes of a den mother, and that's we didn't have another den mother the following year, so I think I was only in for about a year, and then got into Scouts with my brother, inviting me, and we went to summer camp, which was cool, and I just pretty much played around. We played game along. Every time we got together, things like I never advanced any of that. And then Bill Dean came along. He was in the Air Force. His son was working on his Eagle. He became our Scoutmaster for 2 years. And he just walked up to me. I was the oldest kid in the troop. There was like 10 of us, and 3 were my brothers.
Oh, wow.
It was 4 of us, so half the troop was my brothers. And my older brothers had been, my older brothers had been in, but I never made it. I can remember vaguely being in the car watching them get ready to go to camp or something. So it wasn't a big, thing. But Bill walked up to me, and Mr. Dean said, "You're going to be an Eagle Scout." And I was like, okay, what do I need to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's usually there. We went on campouts sometimes. Two nights. Usually it's just a day type of thing, but we were camping. I remember camping in 20 it had to be 20 below. There was a lot of snow on the ground when we got up.
Yeah, because it's New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the metal zippers, and you can't get out to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, yeah.
Condensation. And I remember putting hot rocks in a pan and putting in the tent.
Yeah.
Keep us warm all night.
Right.
And you wake up and there's frost on the inside.
Oh,
of
yeah,
the tent
yeah. It was
because of the moisture from the heat.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, Eagle Scout, I knew it was a thing, and ended up, I was the first Eagle Scout of our troop.
Oh, wow.
Just because everything was almost start over every year because you get a new leader and the record keeping wasn't that great or whatever. And another guy with me, he eagled right after me. And I don't think it meant as much at the time, but it's on my resume and people, bosses, and, hey, he's an Eagle Scout. And I was involved through college. Then when I moved here, my daughter was dating a young man. She goes, Dad, he's a scout.
Oh, yeah.
I never did get his name. I said, okay, good. You can date him. He's
you're allowed for that one.
He's
Yeah.
working on his Eagle. And I signed up for 5 merit badges that he needed to get his Eagle Scout within the next 6 months.
Oh, wow.
One of them being hiking, which required a 5, 10, and a 20-mile hike.
Wow, 20.
Personal fitness, personal management. So got him. I actually spoke at his Eagle Court of Honor. That's where they recognize them and award them their pin and everything. That was quite an honor. And afterwards, people, because I talked about their relation, how we met, and all I got was that he was a scout.
Right.
That was good enough for me.
Yeah,
kind of thing. And so they all asked about the relationship. I said, no, they're not together anymore.
Yeah.
But
he's okay.
David DeBerry. He is went in the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
Called me up. Chanel's with me here in Charlotte as a rental.
Wow.
Moved to tough gig. 10 years. He was stationed in Hawaii.
Wow. Yeah, that
10
doesn't
years.
sound
Cartographer.
Yeah.
Something like those lines.
That sounds real tough.
Got a hell of a bonus to sign up for another 4 years.
Wow.
Dude, you're set, man. By the time you hit your 20, and he's he has moved to Florida now. So he's Florida. He's got a couple boys in scouting. And then I got a call from my niece who had twins when she was like 21. Anyway, so my great nephew, she called me up one day and goes, hey, I heard you're an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Daniel wants to be in Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
And I look at that was it. The first meeting, I'm in my full uniform, and they're all looking at me, but my wife's like, no, I don't let him wear that in the bedroom. He can wear that outside.
That's good information. That's good information. Yeah.
So it stuck, man. He got me reignited. My nephew, we crossed over from the pack to the troops. I was 2 years in the pack. We camped, and he had a ball, and he was like, thanks for bringing me. Thanks for camping, and stuff. And just crossed over into the troop, and didn't think I was going to be Scoutmaster one day, but my philosophy.
Here we are.
This is very different than the leaders at the time were old school.
Sure.
Don't mentor them too much, and when they screw up, then tell them what they did wrong,
right?
That kind of thing. And I'm like a little more mentoring, coaching.
Yeah. Tell them they're screwing up when they're screwing up.
the things, and it's letting them learn by doing, which is the greatest. It's an outdoor experiment. Who wants to sit in a class all day? Especially now with screens and everything else that are distracting our boys and creating all kinds of other long-term effects. I'm also an ambassador for a local agency that helps balance screen time and prevent.
There's something to that.
Adults.
Even it's bad enough. It's bad enough for children, but for adults,
toddlers and adults.
Oh yeah,
children is worse because the brain doesn't develop fully till they're 25.
Right.
So all the reasoning and executive function skills, they get developed later on.
Right.
And the scariest part about this screen time is a little thing called neural pruning, which if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
So if there's stuff you're not using, those
neurons,
those neurons get cut off.
Right.
Yeah, well, you're not using them, so you must not need them.
Right.
And that's why teenagers do stupid stuff because they're teenagers, not fully developed. But the founder, she's here, Screen Strong. I'm an ambassador with them because scouting is a tool to help balance.
Yeah,
get them outside.
Sure.
Get them outside.
How do you guys navigate that? So, for instance, you told me before the show that you guys have a big weekish long trip to the Keys and whatnot. So, of course, you want to let the boys be able to call their parents and things like that if they can, but you don't allow them at all. So they're just with you for a week, and that's that.
Parents call me.
Yeah.
No, because they end up, especially there's no service on the island.
Yeah,
we're
so
going to
that's
canoe to an island. But we made a policy in the troop. But most troops I talk to, the greater issue is with adults being on the phone.
I could see
the phone.
I could see that.
But it scares me that toddlers are on a phone because speech gets stunted, creativity. So if you can keep them creative, keep a balance. Because the founder of this agency, her son was addicted to gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Which didn't reach the National Health Organization until 2018. Gaming was finally, it's an addiction.
Yeah,
what do we do
for
about
sure.
it? He was addicted, went off to college, was addicted for a year, dropped out, and ended up having to go to in the Army for 5 years.
Wow.
To cold turkey. Because there were no agencies. She's a nurse. There was no research. There was no anything available to her. This was like 10, 15 years ago. And now, we have ambassadors. I just spoke at in the middle school. I speak to my scout groups about the screens and the screen time. So we don't allow it, and the guys are happier.
Yeah, I could see
They're
that.
not. What I miss.
I could see
what
that.
I missed.
Yeah.
And of course the parents like proof of life.
Yeah.
So I send. We have a
They're
Facebook.
alive.
We have a Facebook page, and I'll get a text. You there? Is everything going good? And I'll send them a proof of life. Here he is.
Proof of life.
He's
Yeah,
alive,
yeah, he's alive.
But we have a private Facebook page so they can see what we're doing.
Right.
Oh, good. They're there. And I have even mothers that aren't like necessarily helicopter moms. It's just they feel better knowing today
That they're safe.
I mean, God, we'd go as kids. We were.
Oh, sure.
I built a raft one time in the spring. In New York, it's still snow on the ground.
Oh, sure.
I tied some 5-gallon drums to a door, dragged it down a mile from the house through the snow to the river.
Nice.
And my 5 younger siblings
followed
me.
I believe you were a troublemaker as a kid.
It was like, well, that's where the dentist comes from.
Yeah. Right.
Dennis the Menace. But the thing was, I didn't realize it was a stupid thing until I put it in the river. And I'm going, 30 miles an hour because it's the spring.
Right. The water's rushing.
Melting,
Yeah.
And I had a broom handle, the keel.
That's hilarious.
And all I could do was jump out into waist deep water.
Yeah.
Let the raft head down.
Yeah, try not to
get
die,
in the spring,
basically.
and then we all headed back, and our housekeeper was like, "Okay, you're all in the shower, you're crazy." So
that's fun.
Yeah, but the thing I love about scouting, and I love everything, it's hard to decide, but it's just watching them grow up, watching them when the switch goes on, and they're thinking about other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's, even when you talk about partnerships, so many of our partnerships are transactional. What are you going to do for me?
Right.
What are you going to do for me? Not how can I help you?
Yeah.
Growing. So my approach is how can I help you? And that comes from, growing up
Directly
in a family
Scouts,
that we were in scouting. My parents were community leaders. My mother helped start a clinic for cystic fibrosis children.
Wow.
If you're familiar with CF, it's a terminal disease, and they had to drive an hour away to get to Syracuse.
Wow.
And we were in Watertown, so she helped start a clinic. But we were always, doing things for the community, always helping strangers and bringing people, taking care of our homes. Bringing into our home. And
there were so many of you. I mean, it's just,
Yeah. And then maybe that's why
huge family.
It was sort of, what they call it, casual neglect.
Yeah.
Not so many if we lost one,
Well,
but we lost one.
Casual
neglect. We got 8 more.
That's great.
We got these guys out here.
Yeah.
But watching the guys get it.
Yeah.
So for me, I tell them, I'm not doing this for me. I've got my Eagle Scout. I've been to film that. I can tie all my knots.
Yeah.
I can start a fire.
Sure.
I can stay warm in the cold.
Yeah.
It's helping you go from me, what are you going to do for me, to how can I help other people, including and that's the whole patrol method and working with other adults. And then some of it's fun. I mean, I remember the first camp out, his parents just dropped their kid off. I don't even think I met him. It's a high level of trust.
Super casual neglect.
They had a big family too.
Yeah, casual neglect. Yeah, they get it.
But he goes camping with us. He had a summer sleeping bag, and it was still March here, which gets pretty
cold. Yeah.
And I heard him crying in the middle of the night, but our motto was be prepared. I knew exactly what to do. So I took out my noise canceling headset and I put it on my ears and I rolled over and I was good. And next camp out, he brought a heavier bag.
Yeah.
So you never know. I mean,
you never know.
We go backpacking. We this 4-foot timber rattler goes across the middle of camp, and we're all letting it pass.
Yeah, letting it be his thing.
But it's huge. That's 4 feet off and gun. One of the boys who's like, he's an Uber Scout. He loves the outdoors. I mean, as soon as he gets outdoors, he wants to take his shoes off and go. His whole family's like that.
That's interesting. That's an interesting quality to have.
It is. And he's looking at it. He's like, it'd be really cool if we could get that snake to strike.
Oh God!
No, you don't want him to strike.
This is a troublemaker right here.
13-year-old. I mean, he's just like, and everything.
That's awesome.
Like, hey, there's gonna be deer on the island when we go down to the Keys. Venison's really good.
Oh,
no, we can't kill
everything.
the deer.
Can't kill the deer. That's great. Well, unfortunately, we are running out of time here, and I know that they want to get back to repainting the room here. Man, it's been a great show talking about your experiences and everything from mortgages to Boy Scouts.
Do you want to see my last?
So
prop?
yes. I didn't know you had another prop. Let's see the last prop.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh wow!
To verify that I have had
a bunch of different positions. These are all your business cards.
These are my different business cards.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to stop here.
Yeah.
At the mortgage when I started a mortgage, it said start at the Y and
right.
United Way, App State.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool how technology changes. Like just a phone number here.
Right.
A phone and fax. And phone, fax, email.
Yeah, and now it's back just to phone, email because we don't fax anymore for the most part.
I thought I was done.
Oh, here we go.
And I had to frame a bunch
more
over the last 10 years.
And now you got your photo and stuff.
I still got to go
frame
another
some more.
One. Yeah, but there's hopefully start this. So it's
that's great that you framed all that.
Yeah, and this used to hang in my office, and reps would come in, and they always ask you, well, what do you do?
What don't I do?
Right. So this gal, true story, just happened to be blonde.
Yeah.
No offense to the blondes out there. But
yeah.
I said, well, no, that's what I used to do.
Yeah.
And she looked and looked.
You made business cards?
That's what she said. Card maker. You were a business card maker. I go, yes, bless
yes,
your
I
heart.
was. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. That's awesome.
So yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Well, that's a great note to end. Absolutely. But man, thank you so much for joining. Let's go grab some lunch and
Thank you.
talk biz. But yeah, absolutely. We'll see you next time.
All right.